Good evening. My name is Keith Schertz, and welcome to After the Buzzer here on Hive State Hockey. And I'm here to talk a little bit about the game in which there was a lot of energy because the Edmonton Oilers were in town to play the Utah Hockey Club. Utah Hockey Club did all they could. They gave themselves a 2-goal cushion. They surrendered a 2-goal cushion. They gave up the lead. They tied it up again. Were able to force overtime, even kill off the penalty late in the game. But they still found themselves losers tonight to the Edmonton Oilers by a score of 4-3. Duh. First things first. If you're new here, if this is your first time checking us out, welcome. I'm so pleased that you're taking a chance on this and have an opportunity to check us out and see what this is about here. And if this is not your first time here, welcome, and you're back again, congratulations on exceedingly fine taste. I wanted to just say I missed the last 3 games. We've had a crazy week in my family, a little bit crazy week. Not just the holidays, but so we lost our pet and then illness from that. I think the stress of losing the pet caused us all to get sick in our house. So we've been a little under the weather. So if I sound a little bit hoarse tonight, forgive me if I cough a little bit here or there. I'll try not to. And maybe we'll save the voice a little bit, but we won't do too much. Save it up. Go compete again tomorrow night against the Vegas Golden Knights. What can you say? The first period of this game was really well played by Utah Hockey Club. They had a strategy for what they wanted to do. There was a lot of intention to the way they were going to play. They got a couple of fortunate breaks. It's one of those things you don't normally see on the very first goal. You don't see Connor McDavid have a sloppy giveaway in the neutral zone that leads to a odd man rush the other way and an easy look on goal for Alex Kerfoot, but that's what we saw. So, the best player in the world just coughed one up to Stenlin, who made a nice play, but it's one of those. Edmonton kind of came in. They were a little bit sloppy. They had the ability to turn up the heat. They did turn up the heat, and it really showed in that second period. I thought that the Utah Hockey Club did a nice job in the third period to respond and to compete. The most important thing, obviously, and this goes for every team, you don't give up penalties to Edmonton. Their power play is so strong. You just never want to give up power play to Edmonton. That is absolutely a death sentence if there ever was one. And so Edmonton Oilers get 2 power play goals tonight. That really was the thing that helped them get going in that second period. A couple of the penalties that happened through there were coming. You could kind of feel in the game. There hadn't been a penalty to that point. They had called one on Edmonton. Utah didn't do anything with their power play because they typically never do anything with their power play. And then they're bad at killing penalties, and that, so if even in the best penalty killing team in the NHL does not want to give the Edmonton Oilers a power play, when you're one of the worst teams in the NHL at killing penalties, you definitely don't want to give the Edmonton Oilers that opportunity. So it was a really frustrating opportunity tonight to see the team play so well through the first period, take advantage of a couple sloppy mistakes, find a way to get the puck in the back of the net. Again, the neutral zone turnover by McDavid, and Stenlin went down. He made a really nice pass and fed it across and got it to Kerfoot. That was a great goal. Came on the rush. Then there was another goal where it was held in at the blue line by Bortuzzo, and then Valimaki got the puck and just wanted to send it in, but he put it on net, which was great. And a little bit of a deflection was put in by Cooley, and then Cooley was able to follow it up again and put it in the back of the net. So again, going to the net, driving pucks to the net. You gotta love that. Not looking for highlight, cross seam, one timer type plays. Just getting the puck to the net. Things that I've been looking for from Utah Hockey Club. Things that made them successful when they played Montreal. When they had opportunities to score in that game outside of the Sergachev overtime winner. They were really strong when it came to, just put the puck on net. They don't score that many pretty goals. They really don't. Outside of like Dylan Guenther, and then of course I say this, and it was a pretty goal by Lawson Krause, which again came on the rush. So they need to get through the neutral zone a lot better. It's one of the things I'm certain that the head coach and his staff are thinking about and trying to solve, how to make a connection from the defensemen and blue liners up to their dynamic young players who, Logan Cooley, probably his best skill on tape as a recruit, as a prospect, was that he was so good at finding space in the neutral zone and finding ways to create offense by finding space in the neutral zone and then getting going. So, they need to find a way to get through the neutral zone with a lot more scary intention behind it. They also need to find a way to getting to the rush a lot more takeaways that occur in the neutral zone. That's going to make a big difference. A lot of times that's tough to do, and mostly takeaways in the neutral zone come by virtue of a center or good hard work being put in by your forwards, and that's one of those things that Utah does not have good defensive forwards. Kerfoot is pretty good. Stenlin is pretty good. When they say on the broadcast that Stenlin's one of the best defensive forwards in hockey, I mean it's ludicrous. But I would say he's good. He's solid. He's solid. But I think that one of the things that they're going to do this season is hopefully find a way to solve that problem, because to me, that's at the heart of where a lot of their offense can come from. Is to be able to skate hard to the net, have an opportunity to have kind of a free look at the goalkeeper, pick a corner and try to hit it. And I feel reasonably confident most of the players on the team will hit that corner in those rush situations, except for Nick Schmaltz, of course, who's never going to score. I don't know. Nick Schmaltz. Nick Schmaltz has over 4 goals of expected goals, like based on they're saying, let's talk about as it relates to the Nick Schmaltz thing. It's kind of interesting to think about, like, when you look at his expected goals, like his individual expected goals through this point of the season is 4.65 entering the game tonight. This doesn't include tonight's game. He's probably, given one of the opportunities he had, he's probably over 5 expected goals now. But on his individual expected goals, he's entering the game tonight 4.65. This is on evolvinghockey.com. And He has no goals, obviously, so shot percentage is at 0. His expected Fenwick, like to put it on net, is at 7.38. But yeah, he's just missing the net. I mean, more often than not, Nick Schmaltz is just missing the net. He's just never going to score. He's like Eric Foreman in the early seasons of that '70s show. Hopefully, he becomes like Eric Foreman later in that series. But the thing is that hopefully one of the things that'll happen here for Nick Schmaltz is that it will unlock at some point. But I would say that the thing about Nick Schmaltz's opportunities, given how many individual shots he's taken this year, I mean, he's had 40 entering the game again tonight, 43 shots. He's got 43 shots. He's got 4.65 expected goals on 43 shots. He's fourth on the team on total shots taken. These are shots that have been saved, shots on net. That is a lot of shots to not sneak one by. That is a lot of shots to not sneak one by. That is wild to me. And I think it speaks to the quality of the shots that he's getting, and also a little bit of bad luck. Obviously, unexpected goals. They only expect him to have, either 4 or 5 goals this season. So it wouldn't be like he'd be one of the one of the leading scorers for Utah Hockey Club. He'd have a few goals. He'd be on a pace to score something like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 goals this year. It wouldn't be like he's on this huge 30-goal scoring pace. It would be that he'd be in a position to, give you 20 goals and help you win a couple more games. And, it is interesting to think about how many of these games that they've dropped would have been different had Nick Schmaltz actually had the ability to finish one of his opportunities. That being said, he needs to get stronger opportunities. He needs to get better looks at the net. I thought the pass tonight from Keller in the third period, where he got the one-timer and was able to take it, it gives him a lot better opportunity to score when it goes cross-seam like that, and he's got space on the far wing, and he takes it with a short angle. If you look at his goal-scoring map from previous seasons, the majority of them come on one-timers or rebounds off the front. And the problem is that they're just not on that line. It's a confusing one, because if you have Barrett Hayton on the ice at the same time as Nick Schmaltz, like, who do you want to be down low and in front of the net? Nick Schmaltz or Barrett Hayton? Hayton, right? But Schmaltz is pretty good in front of the net. He is able to cash in and get some goals in front of the net. He's not a particularly strong or physical presence in front of the net, but he's been able to create some goals down low. But if you have him out there with Barrett Hayton, you don't want him down low. You want Barrett Hayton down low. So that's part of what's going on, is that Schmaltz is not being used in a way that he was maybe in previous seasons as much. It's also the case that he's gotten some unlucky saves on him, but I would also just say that I think that his quality of shot, his opportunity quality, has not been particularly strong. I don't think his teammates are finding him in really strong situations. Between Barrett Hayton, Clayton Keller and him have, for the longest time, there's been a reputation that they've got this great chemistry between them. They're not really generating much currently. It's been a few games since we really felt like that line was impactful and having, was making a difference on the ice. So it's really strange. I'm going to look up one other thing just to give impact here of where we are. So he's got over 400 minutes of ice time. I want to see if any forward in all of hockey entered tonight with over 400 minutes of ice time and no goals. And the answer is only Nick Schmaltz. Only Nick Schmaltz. Chandler Stevenson of Seattle looks like he's only scored one so far. Yeah, Nick Schmaltz. So, I mean, he's had the 69th most ice time in the NHL. And he's got the least amount of goals of anybody that has over 400 minutes this season. So, not great. It just speaks to maybe the amount of luck he hasn't had. But I also would just say, when he misses the net now, I kind of think there's a reason he's missing the net at this point, you know? I don't know if he switched his stick. We can look up hockey gear. I think there's a website that tracks players and what gear they're using and what their stats are with different gear, which is crazy. But I would just say that I'm for the amount of ice time he gets to play. I mean, he had the second most minutes for the forwards tonight. I know he's generated more assists than anybody else on Utah Hockey Club. Half of them are secondary assists, but he still leads the team in primary assists. So that's not really a strong argument either. The bottom line is that it's not that he's been ineffective or that he's a waste of, that he shouldn't be playing that many minutes. Maybe he needs to move down a line and maybe I just think that they either need to put him in a position to get one in the net or they just need to continue to let him struggle, I guess, right? But it's going to just go on further and further, it feels like. It just doesn't. They keep saying there's one just around the corner. I don't know. I don't feel like there's one just around the corner. Do you? Because I don't. I think that he's not played particularly well. I think that the quality of the shots he's getting, the places that he's getting to on the ice, when he gets the puck, he just doesn't have that much space. And when he does, and he takes the shot, it's just missing the net so frequently. So, it's an important topic for us to talk about what's going on with Nick Schmaltz. It's just an important thing. He's, according to Ice Time, he's the second most important forward on this team. And he is not producing goals. But has helped with a few assists for sure, leading the team in assists. So it's a confusing case, right? Is he having a good year or is he having a bad year? He's having a bad year, right? Well, I don't know. He's leading the team in assists. Oh, so he's having a good year. Yeah, but he's also had 43 shots and none of them have gone in. Oh. In some ways, he's like the Utah Hockey Club at large, where there's times where you can see that there's something there, right? There's times where it looks like they have the pieces, they have stretches of play where they seem like they might be onto something. And there's some promising facts, things that are existing that are promising inside of all that. There are times all the time where it feels like there are those things that are happening that are positive for Utah Hockey Club. And then this wild thing will happen, like 3 goals in the second period, and then you fight to come back, and then you lose in overtime. And you look at where they are, and they're not that far in front of the very bottom of the Western Conference, and you look at the advanced stats and you see that they're not particularly strong at 5-on-5. They're not particularly strong at scoring on the power play. They're not particularly strong would be an incredibly generous way of saying what they do on the penalty kill. This is a team where if you look empirically at the numbers and you dive into advanced stats are not overall very kind to this team. If you look at the kind of raw stats, like traditional stats, there's also things that make you kind of scratch your head and go like, what's going on with that team? Why don't they play with faster pace? How come it doesn't go up and down the ice at a higher speed, higher rate? It's an interesting thing. And then the other part of this is, well, are they getting better? Is it coming along? And the thing for me is that, I think the fact that they've only had a winning streak one time this season. Since they won the game against the New York Rangers in the third game of the season, since the game 3, and now I believe they've played 23 games this season. So in the last 20 games, they've yet to put together 2 consecutive victories. And so as much as I want to be positive, it's new hockey team, it's here, Utah, hey! And look at all the young kids, and look at what their pedigrees are and where they were drafted. Look at some of the skill they do. All of that is true. They're kind of bad, right? I think we should just I think it's okay. I think it's okay to kind of say they're kind of not very good. They're definitely not very good. They might actually be bad though. Now, schedule is supposed to soften up. December is supposed to be their most productive month of the year, according to overall rest advantages that they'll have, how frequently they're at home versus being on the road, how many times they're playing back-to-backs, all that stuff. December is supposed to be a really good month for Utah Hockey Club. If they struggle through December, I think that's a wrap. You can just, we can give up on thinking about the playoffs for this team. So there's a lot to learn over the next 4 weeks, a ton to learn. But they're not in a super strong position as things stand currently, right? They need to find a way to win consecutive games. That'd be great. They had a chance to win consecutive games tonight for the first time since game 3 of this season. And yeah, but they wouldn't have won 2 games in a row in the month of November. That's not going to happen. So it's not been good. Schedule's been a little bit tough, but you would have thought they might have been able to get a little bit more from this month. And then the other part of this is what else can you say about the Oilers, right? I mean, there was no panic in that group. Evan Bouchard, and the good work he does out there, and Obviously, McDavid scoring the goal, and Draisaitl is obviously Draisaitl, and then Nugent Hopkins has been there forever, and he's just been a reliable player for them for a long, long time. Like, they were able to come away with 2 points in Salt Lake after Utah, I think you could say, is like maybe one of their best performances of the season from a holistic view. Like, they did a lot of things where they seemed to be creative. I want to talk for a second about I love, and I've been concerned, because if the team's not going to be good, then the players need to be good. They need to get better. I have been really pleased with the development and the things that we have seen coming from Logan Cooley, and I think he is taking his game forward. We will look into those numbers, and we'll make that really clear next time. I'll have a slide ready for us. We'll talk about the ways in which Logan Cooley is definitely improving overall as a hockey player as the season continues. But there was a period of time where, that was the best line on the ice. Logan Cooley had one period, and oh man, you remember when we were concerned that McBain was just on that line with Cooley and Gunther because they needed an enforcer? It's like, no. McBain is also taking a step forward. He's scoring way more goals than anybody thought he would. He's on track right now to be a high 20 goal scorer. Like, that's crazy when you think about who Jack McBain is and what we thought he might be and all that stuff. Like, it's pretty awesome. There was that section where Logan Cooley came in hard through the offensive zone, and as he came through, he had a drop-off pass between his legs. He dropped it off, and it went to McBain, and then McBain had a sick between-the-legs pass into the slot, and then there was Gunther, and he was on it, and he had that shot in front, and it was a nice save. But that level of creativity and creation that happened, again, it was an opportunity that came on the rush that gave them an opportunity as they entered the zone to create space, and the way Cooley saw that and was able to unlock those things. Again, getting through the neutral zone with some speed. It is the thing every team in the NHL is doing to the Utah Hockey Club. They are taking away Utah Hockey Club's ability to get through the neutral zone with some speed, because their top two lines are both capable of doing some pretty great things when they come in and can attack on the rush and get a little space. But they don't get that many opportunities to do that because they're just entering the zone, and then there's too many people back, and they're really slowing up the Utah Hockey Club. And to be honest, Utah Hockey Club is way too content to take that. Just, oh, well, okay, we're going to take that. And so I don't know if they need to adjust, their system. I don't know if it's better, back check. I don't. There's other people whose job is to figure that out. But getting through the neutral zone is going to improve everything. More rush opportunities, more pucks to the net, more chances for people to finish. And so it's one of the things that we're hoping to see going forward. One of the things that hopefully will improve for Utah Hockey Club as the season will continue here. Okay. Yeah. But it was pretty cool to see Connor McDavid in town. Obviously, he's a terrific player. If you're new to hockey, you got a chance to see McDavid and watch him play. That is the best player in the world. And he does so many things that are awesome. And he does them all. That's the other part. He's complete. He's not a one-way player. He does everything for you. Physical player, does a lot of things right. Except for the first period where he gave away the puck in the neutral zone, and then that created that opportunity. So they got to find a way to get more takeaways defensively. It's one of those weird things. If they don't get better defensively and they don't create better breakouts, like they really, I mean, I was hoping Sergachev could be like Roman Josi, where like Nashville has come up with lots of different like design play sets where they get the puck onto Roman Josi's stick for the breakout. And Josi's so skilled at passing the puck. Those breakouts happen and they get through that neutral zone, and that creates, great opportunities for the Predators. It has for years and years. Obviously, they're having a bad year. But like that was kind of what I was hoping that maybe Sergachev would get there, but I don't see any of that intentionality. It's a lot of weight behind the net, allow for the line changes to occur, and then begin the process of carrying the puck. Last thing is, it still drives me nuts, but the Utah Hockey Club to me they got to adopt an identity of going on the forecheck. They got to get the puck in deep. If they don't start driving the puck in deep, and forechecking and battling and creating opportunities, because you send it in deep, defensemen have to go back, you hit, you dig the puck out, you make a pass, tic-tac-toe, get a shot on that net. Defensive men are out of the position, they're trying to skate back into position. Like, so many good things that can come from forechecking and dump and check and the chip and chase and all of it. They're not doing any of that. They carry in, they make a cross-ice pass at the blue line. If they carry in at center ice, they quickly pass to the boards. They do not apply a lot of pressure on defensemen. It's an easier night for defensemen, because right now all you have to do is make sure you stay back, don't allow them to come through the neutral zone with a bunch of speed, and then you can get them in the cycle, and then they're going to be obsessed with, getting the perfect pass along the way. So it's one of those difficult things. We're going to have to see Utah Hockey Club improve schematically, because, I believe teams have developed a pretty good idea of what they can do to thwart and bring in, these teams and avoid opportunities on the rush. And Tourné needs to find a way to get more opportunities on the rush for the Utah Hockey Club. So, and part of what can create that is by forechecking, you create the concern of, am I going to need to turn and go to the net and go behind, and then am I going to take some punishment? And it's like, no. Like, if you're a defenseman, you're like, I'm not going to take any punishment tonight. I'm not getting forechecked. Not really. It's not just this consistent thing that's happening over and over again. It's this thing that rarely happens. And I would love to see them take more opportunities to try to build some chaos into their attack by, if you don't have a clean zone entry and you have an opportunity to try a pass at the blue line, but you could also cycle it in around the boards and allow the other guy on the far side to go down and forecheck for it, I get that you don't want Matias Michelli doing that. And by the way, that was brutal on the giveaway in overtime. Brutal. But I think that, yeah. And by the way, we're back to the Matias Michelli problem. We talked about this earlier in the year. But if Michelli's on the third line, what is he? It's hard to know what to do with Matias Michelli when he's on the third line. If he's on the top two lines, it makes a lot more sense, but then you are really surrendering any sort of physical presence up front. And Jack McBain clearly is playing better with Cooley and Gunther. McBain is putting the puck in the back of the net. Michelli wasn't doing that. And then the other thing, too, is that, like, Michelli just doesn't finish. His shot is not a strong shot. It's not a great shot. He's scoring more than Nick Schmaltz. But, yeah, like, it is an interesting problem. What do you do with Matias Michelli? He is a bizarre fit. He shouldn't be on your third line, checking line. He's not a fourth liner. He's a playmaker. But can he play with Gunther and Cooley? Probably not. Can you put him with Schmaltz and Cooley? Or Schmaltz and oh my gosh. Cold medicines, everybody. Clayton Keller? Yeah, like, probably not, And so he's a difficult player to know where to slot him in, where to fit him. He's a difficult player to figure out where he should go. Really, really confusing, tough player. So I've said that word a lot tonight, confusing. I don't know. I mean, there's things that make you look at this team and see things to feel good about. It's not that it's just all dumpster fire or whatever. They're not a strong 5-a-side, 5-on-5 team. They're not a particularly strong power play team. They're a bad penalty kill team. So hopefully hopefully Andre Tourné is good at developing talent. Vegas Golden Knights tomorrow night. I'll be on after the game. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is, again, your first time, welcome. If you're back again, really, really appreciate that. If you could subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. Tell your friends about the show. You can obviously participate any way that you'd like. And the little thumbs up, that helps people find it. It makes me know that you enjoyed what we put together for you here. Otherwise, I wish you all, I hope you all had a very happy Thanksgiving. And we're able to score some fantastic Black Friday deals. Oh, wow. And so that's it. Utah Hockey Club goes down to the Edmonton Oilers 4-3 on the strength of an overtime goal by Ryan Nugent Hopkins. We will see you next time.